Brief History of Prehistory Taiwan to 1624.
During the Pleistocene, sea levels dropped by over 120 meters, exposing the Taiwan Strait as a land bridge. This physical link transformed the modern island into a peninsular refuge for ancient life. Glacial cooling caused annual temperatures to drop significantly, allowing boreal forests to expand. These climate shifts triggered the initial faunal dispersals across the dry land connection. In the modern era, fishermen recovered a mineralized secret from these submerged depths. The Penghu one mandible represents an archaic hominin lineage from the Middle Pleistocene. Its primitive features suggest these humans lived between 450,000 and 190,000 years ago. They coexisted with or preceded classic Homo erectus in the East Asian region. Taiwan is a dynamic geological zone defined by rapid tectonic uplift and erosion. This constant movement shaped the landscapes that would later host human settlers. A 12.79-meter core has reconstructed over 60,000 years of the island's ecological history. These pollen zones reveal the shifting baseline to which early humans had to adapt.
The Baxian Cave complex contains over 20 caverns periodically occupied by prehistoric people. The Changbin culture represents the arrival of anatomically modern Homo sapiens. Their tool industry focused on unpolished flake tools and unifacially flaked core choppers. Their discovery at Baxian Cave established the oldest modern human site in Taiwan. Excavations found in situ charcoal hearths and wooden sticks used for making fire. AMS radiocarbon dating confirmed human occupation dating back 25,000 years. These hunter-gatherers adapted to the coastal environment for nearly 20,000 years. A 2,000-year gap in the record suggests rising sea levels forced people out of lower caves. Tectonic uplift eventually made the lower cavern systems inhabitable once more. Technological similarities suggest the Changbinian may have originated in southern China or Southeast Asia. In Miaoli, the Huangxing culture emerged with high-quality microlithics of quartz and agate. These persistent Paleolithic groups relied on hunting and forest foraging until 6,000 years ago. A limestone cliff on the eastern coast holds the secret of a missing era. Excavations in 1988 uncovered a significant pre-Neolithic burial in a layer without pottery. This burial method is consistent with ancient hunter-gatherer practices across Southeast Asia. The dolichocranic skull aligns with the first layer of humans in eastern Eurasia. The stature of this graceful female closely resembles the Negrito people of the Philippines. These foragers share a common ancestor with the first modern humans to settle the region. 15 out of 16 indigenous tribes maintain legends of the Xiaoheran, or Little Black People. Oral histories describe these vanished people as forest-dwelling masters of agriculture. This ceremony is intended to pacify the spirits of the vanished foragers. The two-layer model suggests these foragers were marginalized by expanding agriculturalists. Some highland legends claim the last of the ancient foragers were exterminated 1,000 years ago. The Xiaoma discovery provides a physical foundation for Taiwan's oldest oral traditions. Around 14,000 years ago, marine transgression isolated Taiwan's ecosystems. New migrants from the Fujian coast arrived, bringing a fully developed Neolithic toolkit. This demographic break commenced around 6,000 years ago and spread rapidly. Their pottery is defined by coarse cord marking, which helped reinforce the clay. Standardized aesthetic markers like scalloped lips identified early TPK workshops. These motifs likely symbolized marine waves and active river currents. The net designs directly reflect the importance of woven fiber fishing nets. Their stone industry featured highly polished adzes manufactured from Penghu basalt. These projectile points were used for both hunting and fishing. Bark cloth beaters indicate the early processing of plant fibers for clothing. Flotation at Nangguanli East recovered over 100,000 grains of millet and rice. This site also yielded the oldest evidence of domesticated dogs in Taiwan. The homogeneous Dabin Keng culture differentiated into localized regional traditions. The Yuanshan culture of the north lived near estuarine environments, leaving massive shell heaps. Their pottery shifted away from cord marking to plain sandy orange wares. They practiced extended burials near their homes, occasionally with jade ornaments. The Nukuzi culture utilized ceramic urns as coffins for their children. The Bainan culture reached a high degree of social complexity around 3,500 years ago. Rescue excavations at Bainan explored 10,000 square meters and over 1,500 graves. They are famous for their jade industry, sourced from the Fengtian deposits. These prestige items indicated social ranking and lineage wealth. Their dead were placed in slate coffins systematically oriented toward the mountains. The people practiced ritual tooth extraction at the onset of puberty. The Kilin culture constructed megalithic features including monoliths and stone sarcophagi. Taiwan is recognized as the primary homeland of the Austronesian language family. 9 branches are found only in Taiwan, while the 10th covers half the globe. A specialized use of the affix "may" identifies the eastern coast as the expansion's starting point. These seafaring communities are the direct ancestors of the Malayo-Polynesian populations. Around 4,200 years ago, Neolithic populations began their southward maritime migration. This cultural package moved from southeastern Taiwan to settle the Batanes Islands. Genetic studies confirm the modern Ami share a close affinity with Pacific populations. These groups underwent genetic bottlenecks followed by rapid expansion as they dispersed. The out-of-Taiwan dispersal eventually reached from Madagascar to Hawaii. Archaeological evidence shows a clear chronological progression of settlement from north to south. The deepest nodes of the Austronesian tree remain rooted in the indigenous groups of Taiwan. The Malayo-Polynesian branch diverged from its Taiwanese roots approximately 5,000 years ago. Around 1,800 years ago, Taiwan entered the Iron Age with high-temperature metallurgy. The Shisanhang people were among the few prehistoric groups to smelt iron in situ. They produced iron tools and agricultural implements that they traded across the island. Their maritime economy included long-range fishing for whales and sharks. Metallurgy replaced jade as they imported glass and agate from Southeast Asia. Extensive trade networks brought Chinese coins and Celadon ceramics to the island. Shisanhang potters manufactured a famous anthropomorphic jar with a sculpted face. The Iron Age was characterized by diverse regional cultures and mortuary patterns. Shisanhang burials were flexed and lateral, facing toward the sea. The Niaosong culture of the south continued the tradition of infant urn burials. Inland groups lacked iron smelting but traded for glass beads and metal tools. A major rescue excavation salvaged these remains before a sewage plant was built. In 230 CE, the state of Eastern Wu sent a massive expedition to find the island of Yizhou. Early Chinese records describe a society practicing Swidden agriculture with no unified penal code. Song Dynasty records describe raids by the Bishai, leading to seasonal military patrols. Chen Di provided the first detailed eyewitness account of Taiwan's indigenous people. The Siraya lived in villages of up to 1,000 people with no centralized chiefs. Marriage was uxori local. The husband moved into his wife's home after a child was born. Because men moved to their wives' homes, daughters were highly preferred in their society. They hunted deer in winter and cleared fields with fire when the flowers bloomed. In 1624, the Dutch East India Company established a trading post at Taiwan. The Dutch encouraged large-scale Han immigration, which displaced lowland indigenous groups. The Spanish introduced the sweet potato, which quickly became a staple for all groups. The annexation of Taiwan by the Qing dynasty brought the island's prehistory to a close.